All right, we will get started. And for the people that just logged on, I'll introduce myself again. My name is Michael Savino, and I lead investments and operations here at M1 Finance. And I'm excited today for the opportunity to talk to you about the M1, how it can hopefully fit into your financial life. So we'll get started. So M1 is a company. So what problem are we trying to fix? So at M1, we saw that the financial service industry failed to evolve for the modern customer and operates on a long, outdated model. So we've realized that investing options for the retail consumer fail to evolve appropriately with increases in technology. It means that even though everything else you do differently over the last 15 years has changed, nobody uses the same kind of phone, nobody orders their groceries the same, nobody buys online the same. But for some reason, we buy our financial products in the same avenues and in the same ways. So we realized that there was a hole in this, and there's a litany of very robust and complicated products, which comes with complexity, bulky interfaces, and expensive platforms. Very simple products that do provide the automation, but don't provide any choice. So what did M1 want to do that? So M1 wanted to provide this revolutionary balance. So we offer a balance that gives the customer a simple yet powerful investing solution. So I'll say this throughout the presentation tonight, but all we ask our users to do is to create their portfolio, and then all you do is add or withdraw money, and the M1 automation takes care of the rest. So that is where balance comes in. And then why did we do this? So why do we do this? So at M1, we have a singular focus, and our singular focus is to empower the individual to make the most of their money. So in all honesty, we've created this platform as a way that we wanted to manage our money. So instead of the old way, which you'll see on the left of all the manual calculations, inputting individual orders and paying commissions, what we have you is create your portfolio one time, and then you add or withdraw money, and M1 takes care of the rest. The automation takes care of the rest. So then how does that work? So at M1, what is this portfolio? So at M1, you create your portfolio using stocks, ETFs, or what we like to call pies, which are buckets of stocks and ETFs. So every user creates a different portfolio. There's an infinite amount of portfolio options. And then the power of the platform is that automation and is that no commissions that come along with the automation. So let's go to account types we offer. So at M1, we are a full service brokerage. So whether you need an individual joint, need a Roth or traditional IRA, or whether you have an entity that you want to create an account for, we support all types of accounts. A lot of our users have both individual and their retirements with us. And with retirements comes 401k rollover. So people that want to start empowering themselves and being engaged in their old 401k investing, feel free to roll those over and start taking advantage of the automation. And lastly, this is the last slide I'll present tonight before we get into the product demonstration, is obviously what does it cost? And first off, there's never any commissions on the M1 platform. So you have an infinite amount of trades per year, and none of those cost you anymore, which is nice. Outside of that is for the first $1,000, it's completely free. If you're under $100,000, you pay 0.25% per year. And if you're above $100,000, you pay 0.15% per year. So we want to make it as low cost and transparent as possible. So that is what we did. So thanks for sitting through that quick description of M1 as a whole, and now we'll just jump square into the product demonstration. So let me share my screen really quickly. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. And right here, we'll land directly onto the M1 portfolio screen. And as I said before, M1 lives and breathes that you create your portfolio, and then all you have to do after that is deposit and withdraw, and our automation takes care of the rest. So in that, the portfolio is your home base. The portfolio is where you'll track your performance. The portfolio is where you'll make updates to your financials. The portfolio is where you'll see when things are out of weight. The portfolio is where you go to rebalance your retirement portfolio. So this is where you'll live and breathe. So the first step here is to create your desired portfolio. So to create it, we'll start with add slices. And when you create your portfolio, you have three options. So you can use M1 Expert Pies, which are bucketed portfolios created by both internal experts at M1 and external experts inside the financial industry. So with our expert pies, we have some general investing, which are is passive long-term investing vehicles. We have some retirement portfolios that mimic any sort of target date portfolio that you want, along with some more interesting things like if you to invest in an individual industry or sector directly, or if you want to follow the 13F filings of certain hedge funds, we allow you to do that as well. But let's start and add something to our portfolio. So let's say we want a target date pie in our portfolio. So let's say we want to retire in 2040 and we fancy ourselves a moderate investor. So we can click in and we can get all the details on this pie. So there's a description, amount of holdings, how it's performed historically. And then if you scroll down the bottom, you'll see all of the individual ETFs that make up this portfolio. And if you like it and you think this works for you, everything's hunky-dory, we'll go ahead and add it to our portfolio. And by clicking that button, you'll see that we start queuing our holdings at the bottom of the screen here. And your holdings queue up just like any other e-commerce shopping cart, where we'll queue them all up together at one time. And then once we're ready, we'll hit add to pie and we'll create this portfolio. So we've added one expert pie, but then the other options are ETFs or stocks. So first we'll go to ETFs. So both ETFs and stocks both have screeners. So you can use the screeners whether you're looking for a specific alternative ETF that specifically invests in managed futures. Maybe that's what you're into. Or maybe you're just looking for something to manage the whole stock market. So we'll go ahead and go with Vanguard's S&P 500 ETF. Go ahead and add that to the portfolio. So now we're happy there. And now we want to add individual stocks. So in the same way the screener was for ETFs, you can screen out different sectors and industries for stocks or filter them by performance and market cap. We'll go ahead and say we want to add Apple, Microsoft, and then you can always search at the top here and we'll add Netflix as our last option. And as we click into Netflix, we get the same information that we got before. So we can see historical performance. We can see some points of reference like CEO. And then again, if we're happy with everything we see here, we'll click this plus sign. So now we're happy with all of our choices. We'll go ahead and click add to pie. After we've clicked add to pie, you land on a screen where you'll have to pick out your percentage allocation. So again, you set your percentage allocations and you're creating this portfolio one time, and then M1 will automate the portfolio from there. So let's say we want our target date to be 50, Vanguard ETF to be 20, and all of our stocks to take up 10%. So we'll go ahead and click save. So now we've created our first portfolio. So now we're landing on the portfolio screen and it's no longer empty, created a portfolio. So now we'd be good to go here and we could start depositing if that's where we wanted to. So the power of the M1 system is here. So you can see 2040 moderate makes up 50%, Vanguard S&P 500 makes 20, and then all the stocks make up 10. And the beautiful part of the M1 system right now is that whether you deposit $100 or if you deposit $100,000, it doesn't make a difference to one. We'll invest all of that down to the penny into your exact portfolio. So if you were to invest $100, 50 of that would go into 2040 moderate, 20 would go into Vanguard S&P 500, et cetera, et cetera. And then with the nice graphical user interface, you can click in on the 2040 moderate, and that $50 that's going into 2040 moderate will go into all of these ETFs, specifically down to their exact allocation to the penny using fractional shares. So we've created our first portfolio and we can be done here if we wanted to be, but the last thing I want to show you right now is how to create your own pie. So we added an M1 expert pie in that 2040 moderate pie, but you can also bucket your securities into what we call my pies. And people use my pies to organize their portfolios. People use my pies to get better performance attribution based on different selection categories. So we'll go ahead and create our first My Pie. And to do that, we go to the My Pies tab, and we're going to go ahead and create new pie. And a pie can be made up of M1 expert pies. It can be a My Pie made up of more My Pies, or it can be funds or stocks. So let's say we want to have a focus on consumer technology picks for 2017. So let's add Google. Let's add Amazon. And then let's use the filters to find our last one. So let's go to technology, Let's go to application software and let's add Salesforce. And again, they queued up at the bottom like they did before, and we'll go ahead and click add to Pi. Now we've created our first MyPi, and again, you have to select your percentage allocations. Every time it'll assume you want them to be even if you don't change them. So we'll go ahead and change it and do 50% to Google, 25% to Salesforce, 25% to Amazon. We can save changes. So we'll go ahead and save that. And then after that, we can go ahead and change the name. So let's change the name to Consumer Tech. And we allow people to name things so they can keep their pies organized and they can remember why they created it, and they want to organize their portfolios in any fashion they want. So you can name it, and you can also add a description. So I'll call it My Consumer Tech Picks 2017. So when I come back to it, I can always know what I was thinking and why I did it. So we'll go ahead and click Save again. So now we've created our first MyPi. Now let's click back to the portfolio screen. So I think the biggest thing to note here is that we've created my first MyPi. We go back to the portfolio screen. The new MyPi wasn't automatically added to my portfolio. So what is to take note of there is that you can create as many MyPis as you want. You can try to bucket in any different fashions, put all of your ideas out there before you actually even need to add it to your portfolio. But let's say we do want to add it to our portfolio. We'll go ahead and hit View Details and click Add Slices for our portfolio. And then the tab that I skipped at the beginning because I knew what I was doing, I'll go ahead and click on the MyPis, and then I see this new Consumer Tech. This is what I named it and described it. I'll go ahead and add it. Go ahead and add this to my portfolio. It's going to ask me to give it a percentage. So I'll go ahead and give it 20 and then hit Save, and then we're confirm it. So now we were good to go. And again, I think some of the people arriving late, maybe I forgot to mention that the Q&A is open the whole time. So if you have any questions, go ahead and queue them up in the Q&A section, and then we'll get to all of them at the end. So now we've added an M1 Pi. We've created our own Pi, which we call Consumer Tech. We can go ahead and click in on it and see that it was added here. So now we've created our own personal Pi. All we need to do is fund. And again, the power of the M1 platform is you create your portfolio one time, and then all you have to do is deposit and withdraw. And the automation handles all the trading. There's never a commission. There's never any of that. So I'll show you quickly how you go to the funding tab. This person is already connected to the bank, but if you hadn't connected your bank, you would connect your major banks with just using your username and password that you use to log into your bank. We'll go ahead and click deposit. One-time deposit. So say I had an extra $1,000 this month and wanted to throw it into my M1 portfolio, I could do that. Or to take control of the power of the M1 platform, a lot of people do recurring deposits. So whether that's $500 a month or $20 a week or $1,000 biweekly, you can do that and you're never paying any commissions, and it creates good habits where you're consistently investing. So what I'm going to do is going to do a weekly $100 every Tuesday. So every Tuesday, the M1 platform will trade that $100, never a commission, never any fees that we weren't aware of. So I can see the schedules down there. So now creating my portfolio, next Tuesday, that $100 will go in, and every Tuesday cents. So that's how you create M1 platform. The other thing of note on the funding screen is that whether you have an IRA or a taxable account, you can transfer other brokerage assets, and we can put them directly to work in your M1 platform. So if you had a brokerage with E-Trade and had individual stocks there, and you wanted to add them to your M1 portfolio, we can go ahead and do that. The other thing that a lot of our users do is roll over 1Ks from their old jobs into IRAs at M1. So you start paying attention to your IRAs and start taking control of those IRAs. So thanks for taking the time. Seeing the demonstration. And as a reminder, we did this on the web, but all the same functionality is available both on Apple and Android phones. So this was a web demonstration on both of those. Hopefully now you see the simplicity and robustness of the M1 Finance platform and where it can fit into your financial future. Now go open up to any questions. Please queue up any questions you have about the M1 or any suggestions or any feedback you have for M1 now, and we'll go ahead and get those answered. All right, the first question I have. So I see a question from him, and so M1 makes his trades once a day. Is it a limit order? And I could say, yeah, we do use limit orders at M1. We make all trades from a 9 a.m. trading window every morning. That's how we're able to keep the cost low. So all of your trades will go in during that 9 a.m. Trading window. And then from Austin, I see a question about his pie being using the aggressive and income earners M1 pies and asking what percentage you should put into both. And I think this is a good point to make to everybody that we aren't an advisor at M1, so we can't give direct advice on what to do. We can provide you the platform and the tools to invest. We're not able to directly tell you how to invest your money, but we are able to provide a menu. You can go look through the methodology. So we're unable to give direct advice on those. Another we have from Joe is, do you offer mutual funds? And the answer to that is no. We don't offer mutual funds on the platform, just New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, and BATS traded stocks and ETFs. So we have over 6,500 securities available on our platform, just not mutual funds. Another question I have is, does it cost money to rebalance? And that's another good question. No, it does not cost any money to rebalance. And you can rebalance as much as you want. You can rebalance every day if you so choose. It doesn't cost any money to rebalance. It never costs any money to make a trade on M1. The other thing to note there is that there is an ability to rebalance. So if your portfolio is ever way out of weight towards your target allocations, you go ahead and click that button and make a rebalance. I see asked, do you have any plans to add ADRs in the future? And I'll say there are some ADRs on our platform. For those of you who don't know what ADR is, an American Depository Receipt, which is a way to trade foreign securities on American exchanges. And Johnny, it depends on which one you want. If it trades on New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ, there's a really good chance it's already on our platform. But if you have any individual ones you're looking for, never hesitate to reach out to our support channel or to us directly. William Coleman also asked about closed-end funds. And yes, William, there are closed-end funds on our platform. So in the fund section where all the ETFs were found, there also see all the closed-end funds. So again, if a closed-end fund trades on New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ, it mostly trades on the M1 platform. And if not, please reach out with any individual ones you are inquiring about. All right, I see. How do I remove pieces of my pie and replace them with something new? So I can go ahead and show you that now, actually. So they asked how to make an edit. So I'll click to view details. And let's say I wanted to remove Apple and add something different. So I go up here. I can click the checkbox, go ahead and click remove. So now I'm 10% underweight. So I either need to add 10% of my portfolio to one of my other assets, or I can go ahead and click add assets, go to stocks really quick, and maybe I want Facebook to make up the rest of it. So I'll go ahead and add Facebook to my portfolio, add it to 10, and click save. Now I replaced Apple with Facebook very quickly. You can always make edits. There's no limits of edits, and we want you to take control of your portfolio, so feel free to do that. From Austin, I see, do you think there will be alternative investments in the future? Right now, the way you can invest in alternatives is through ETFs. So I'll go through on the screen. So, I mean, you can invest in individual real estate and managed futures. You can invest in currency or bonds or commodities through exchange traded products right now. Direct alternative assets it's a possibility in the future. It's honestly not coming down the pipeline too quickly because of the rise in ETFs and the rise in these derivative products that can give you access to those asset classes. So most alternative assets are traded exchange-wise using ETFs currently. Obviously, direct alternative asset investing is a different game, but we do provide all of the exchange traded products that follow those alternative assets. I see Alex asked, any plan to integrate with personal capital and wealth fund for reporting side? That's a great question. We are trying our darndest to integrate with both personal capital and Mint currently. And then after that would probably become the wealth front platform, account aggregators, as they would be called. We've asked, we've gotten in their queue. So we're trying to incorporate that as quickly as possible. You can actually do us a favor and request us on their side and try to bug them as much as possible to get us on their list. But Mint and Personal Capital especially have long lists of people that they need to integrate with. So yes, we're happy to do it once we get to the front of those lines. And a quick update on that, we will be on Mint very soon. Personal Capital seems to be a little bit farther down the road. They seem to be integrating people a little bit more slowly. But yes, definitely on the radar. I see, can you trade options on M1? You can't trade options on M1, just exchange listed. I guess options are exchange listed, but just ETFs, closed-end funds, and stocks on NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange. I see William asks, can we delete old connected bank accounts? And yes, you can go ahead. I'll go ahead and delete this one. So if I have a bank account right here, I can click the X and I can click remove, and the same can be done on mobile. So I went ahead and deleted that bank account. And we only allow one bank account connected at a time, and that's for fraud and money laundering purposes. But yeah, you can always connect and reconnect banks as much as you want. I see a question about a TurboTax integration, and we do have a TurboTax integration. So when your 1099s come out, you'll be able to download those directly into TurboTax, and that's through our clearing provider, Apex Clearing. There's plenty of FAQs about it, and once tax season comes around, we shoot a lot of information about how to get access to those on the different tax platforms. Do you guys trade tax efficient is another question. And yes, we use a min tax trading methodology, which means that we'll trade anything that minimizes taxable gain. So we smartly allocate all trades to minimal taxable consequences. Sounds good. It looks like we're out of questions. Love, a big thank you again. Oh, one more question. Andrew asked, I'm new to the game, should I stick with M1 Expert Pies first? And again, Andrew, I can't give direct advice on what you should do, but you should take a look at the M1 Pies and find something that you're comfortable with. We have a $100 minimum, so people are able to start on our platform for a small amount of cash, and hopefully they can get comfortable with that smaller account size, and then start to understand and see how it grows and see how the M1 platform works, and then grow with it once they're more comfortable. An M1 conference showing what's new and what is coming in the future. Yeah, Austin. Yeah, we'd be happy once we got to the size of a company that needed to have a conference. But we'll definitely, we have some pretty exciting things coming down the pipeline. Obviously, we're also a new company, so never hesitate to reach out with everybody never hesitate to reach out with any feedback or suggestions. What could improve the M1, or if there's a disconnect in what you think the M1 platform should be able to do. We love feedback and we love suggestions because we make a lot of changes fairly right now. With the conference, for now, when we make these big changes, we'll do things like this night and talk to you guys and see what questions you have around them and see your reaction to these big changes. So hopefully we get to a scale where we need to have a conference with all you guys. So that'd be great.